Hi, welcome back with another movie explanation. Today, I'm going to explain a romantic drama film called The Dressmaker. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film is set in the fictitious town of Dungatar in the outbacks of Australia. The first scene is set in the year 1926, in a school where a student named Stuart Pettyman is found dead, and his classmate, a 10-year-old girl, Myrtle Dunnage, is blamed for his death. Police Sergeant Horatio Farrat sends her away from the town to safeguard her from the villagers. Myrtle, now a courtier-trained dressmaker named Tilly, returns to Dungatar 25 years later in 1951. Tilly has no recollection of Stuart's death, and her mentally ill mother, who lives in Squalor, does not remember her at all. Next day, Tilly steps outside in the house and starts playing golf. She asks her mother if she remembers Miss Harradine, her school teacher, and hits the golf ball directly into Harradine's house. She then asks Stuart's Pettyman, who was Harradine's favorite student, and recalls an incident from 25 years ago when Harradine slapped her because of Stuart. Tilly asks about Mr. Almanac, the chemist who was once called her mother a slut and her bastard. She then asks her about Shire President Pettyman and hits both their houses with the golf ball. She requests her mother to remember her so that she can remember if she was actually responsible for Stuart's murder or not. She wants to know if she is a murderer or not. The movie then introduces us to another character named Teddy McSweeney, who was a former classmate of Myrtle. He looks amazed on hearing about Myrtle's return to the village and wonders what she has become. Later, Myrtle is shown cleaning her house while her mother takes a bath. Later in the day, other villagers are introduced, and all of them find out that Myrtle is back after they notice the fire coming out of her house's chimney. The next scene takes us to Stuart's home. His mother has still not forgotten his death and has developed some sort of PTSD syndrome. It is shown that Mr. Pettyman gives her a tonic which makes her unconscious and helps her to sleep at night. Next day, there's a football final match in the village. Tilly's crimson couture gown distracts the Dungatar players during the match. Teddy McSweeney notices this and asks her to leave the match, because if they lose this match, he and his father will be thrown out of the village. Tilly acknowledges his family's support for her mother and changes into an equally enticing black ensemble dress before the final quarter. Meanwhile, Molly remembers Mr. Almanac and pisses him off with a mean statement about him and his wife. While changing dress, Myrtle greets Gertrude Pratt, who runs a grocery store and was also a former classmate of Myrtle. She tells Myrtle that she is very beautiful and she wants to look like her. Tilly gives Gert her visiting card and tells her that she can make a dress for her, which can completely change her look. At that time, Gert looks hesitant to ask any help from her. When the team switch sides at the end of the quarter, the men from Win Europe are the ones who are distracted, and Dungatar wins. After the game is over, Molly and Myrtle go to see Mrs. Almanac, who is surprisingly happy to see Myrtle back in the village. It's then revealed that it was Mrs. Almanac who used to send food to Molly all these years. Myrtle then moves to an open field in front of Mrs. Almanac's house, where she starts recalling a cricket match from 25 years ago. She recalls that Stuart harassed her and threatened to kill her mother after she threw away the ball mischievously during the game. Tilly also remembers asking Gertrude Pratt for help, but Gert turned on for her. Meanwhile, Molly and Mrs. Almanac have a conversation about what happened 25 years ago. Molly tells her that she remembers nothing about Myrtle and that incident. Mrs. Almanac tells her that Myrtle was accused of murder, and she remembers her being taken away by Sergeant Farrat. Later in the night, Tilly and her mother have a furious argument. Molly calls her a murderer and asks her to go away, but Tilly wants to remember her and that incident from 25 years ago. While Tilly and Molly are fighting, Gertrude appears. In exchange for the truth, Tilly undertakes to design a dress for Gertrude Pratt for the forthcoming footballers' dance. Gertrude admits to Tilly that she told Stuart where she was hiding that day. Tilly also asks Gert to get naked in front of her as part of the deal. The same night, Teddy is seen hanging around with his friends on a boat. The next day, Myrtle takes Molly to a dump yard to get a filthy mirror from there. While on her way back home, she meets Teddy, who offers Molly to give her a ride on his horse cart. Teddy asks Myrtle if she'll go to take pictures with him, which she refuses. She shows no interest in talking to him, even after repetitive persuasion. After reaching home, Myrtle receives a package delivered by Sergeant Farrat. Farrat tells her that he needs to search a parcel as a precaution. While searching the box, Farrat finds Myrtle's belongings related to her dressmaking work. He starts behaving abruptly and reveals that he is secretly a cross-dresser, one who wears all types of dresses for different purposes, which could be a fashion event or a comic show. Sergeant Farrat tells Tilly that Stuart's father, Evan, town councillor, blackmailed him for being a covert transgender. Tilly and Farhat become friends because they share a love of fashionable clothing. Tilly then goes to meet Teddy and agrees to go to the pictures with him on Saturday. On the night of the football dance, a transformed Gertrude, with the help of Tilly's dress, attract everyone's attention, especially that of William Beaumont. Gert and William get romantically involved and eventually become engaged. Tilly's expensive costumes are commissioned by the town's women after everyone's impressed with them. Teddy, Molly, and Tilly go to the pictures together, where Teddy and Tilly come close to each other. Teddy and Tilly start a romantic relationship after that night. Evan hires the inept Una Pleasance to start a competing dressmaking firm, but when Gertrude employs Tilly to make her wedding gown, the townspeople refer to Tilly. Farhat lets Tilly read the witness statement submitted by her old schoolteacher, Beulah Harrydean, after being bribed with a feather boa. She confronts Beulah, who says that she was not even present. Farhat learns this from Tilly at Gertrude's wedding celebration, but he remains reluctantly convinced that Tilly murdered Stuart, as everyone else had an alibi. Evan is also revealed to be Tilly's father, by him. Teddy follows Tilly after calming his mentally impaired sibling, Barney, who shouts wildly that Tilly moved when Stuart died. Teddy assists her in recalling Stuart's death at the schoolhouse. Myrtle remembers that Stuart threatened to kill her mother if she didn't stand up against a wall. He came at her with his head down, but she jumped aside, and Stuart broke his neck. Barney saw it all from the town silo, but he was scared people would believe he was lying. After Tilly's innocence is proved, she and Teddy have sex in a caravan and intend to marry. Teddy jumps inside the silo to demonstrate that he does not believe in her curse. He chokes to death after sinking into the grain. He assumed the silo held wheat, but it was actually sorghum. Barney was actually aware that he will drown in sorghum. Molly informs the townswoman that Teddy died in an attempt to demonstrate that his love was stronger than their hatred. Molly comforts the bereaved Tilly and informs her that Evan had Tilly sent away to harm Molly. She pushes Tilly to use her art against the residents of the town. Molly died as a result of a stroke. Beulah snoops around the house while Tilly and Farhat hold awake. Tilly becomes inebriated and throws the record player off the veranda, injuring Beulah. Sergeant Farhat sends Beulah to the Melbourne sanatorium. The sadistic town chemist Almanac drowns in a pond beside his house. Irma, his wife, is under the influence of Molly's extra strong hash brownies, which she has cooked to relieve her arthritis pain. Sergeant Farhat is arrested after accepting the responsibility for the hashish and transvestism. Tilly tells Evan's wife, Margalotte, the truth about them. She slices his Achilles tendon and leaves him to bleed to death when he threatens to kill her. Meanwhile, the villagers of Wynyard learn that Tilly designed the town's exquisite Macondo costumes at a competing Eisenfod. The loss of Evan and Marigold dooms their own disorganized production of Macbeth. In the final scene, Tilly sets fire to her house and sends a paraffin-soaked bolt of red fabric rolling down the hill into town, declaring that she was no longer cursed. Dungartar is ruined where townspeople return. Tilly is on her way to Paris through Melbourne aboard the train. The Dressmaker is a 2015 American romantic drama film directed by Jocelyn Moorhouse, produced by Sue Maslin, and written by Jocelyn Moorhouse and PJ Hogan. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. Stay safe.